I will now call this meeting of the Coralville City Council to order on September 13th, 2022. Could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Knutson. Here. Gross.
Here.
Quinn.
Present.
Jones.
Here.
Goodrich.
Here.
All council members are present, as is the mayor, the city clerk, the city attorney, the city administrator, and other staff in the audience. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Nguyen, seconded by Jones. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Item number 4 is a proclamation for International Peace Day 2022. Whereas the United Nations General Assembly established September 21st as the International Day of Peace, a day devoted to strengthening the ideals of peace, and in 2001 voted unanimously to designate the day as a period of nonviolence and ceasefire. And whereas peace is more than the absence of conflict and includes justice, equity, respect for human rights, and care for the earth. And whereas we seek peace abroad, peace at home, and peace within. And whereas the theme of the International Day of Peace is International Day of Peace 2022 is End Racism, Build Peace, in recognition that peace requires building a society where all people can flourish. And whereas militarism and the global climate emergency are the two greatest threats to peace, and the U.S. military budget for 2022 is $778 billion, while the budget to address climate change is only $28 billion. And whereas many organizations and individuals in Johnson County are committed to the ideals of peace and ending racism. Whereas an event to mark the International Day of Peace will be held in Mercer Park in Iowa City on Tuesday, September 20th at 5:30 p.m. Now therefore, I, Megan Foster, Mayor of the City of Coralville, do hereby proclaim September 21st, 2022 to be International Day of Peace in the City of Coralville, and urge all government agencies and departments, organizations, schools, places of worship, and individuals in Coralville to observe in an appropriate manner the International Day of Peace and to recommit themselves to peace abroad, peace at home, and peace within. Signed on this 13th day of September 2022, Megan Foster, Mayor. And we have a guest here to receive this proclamation. Would you like to come up and introduce yourself and say a few words?
Thank you very much. My name, my name is Jim Olson. I am the president of the Johnson County chapter of the United Nations Association of the USA. And on behalf of our association and 5 other community groups that are planning our local observance of the International Day of Peace, I want to thank you, Mayor Foster, for issuing the proclamation, and thank the council for your support. I am very proud to be a resident of Coralville, and I really enjoy living in this very diverse community. And I think many of our neighbors would join me in commending all of you in city government, in city agencies, in our schools, and throughout the community who are building bridges of understanding among the various diverse elements in our community. As the proclamation noted, there will be an observance of the International Day of Peace a week from today, Tuesday, September 20th, at Mercer Park in Iowa City. We will have some inspiring words, we will have good music, and we'll have the opportunity collectively to think about the ideals of peace. Maybe next year we can have an observance here in Coralville. I certainly hope so. So with that, I thank you very much for issuing the proclamation, and should I pick it up?
Yes. Thank you, and I agree. I hope that we can have an event in Coralville. I think that'd be fantastic. Would you like a photo too? Okay. Awesome. Moving on, item number 5, community comments. This is the time for community members to speak to us about items that aren't on the agenda or items that are on the agenda but are not subject to a public hearing. Each speaker will have 5 minutes, and we do reserve the right to adjust both the comment period and the individual speaking time based on the number of speakers or any accommodations that a speaker might need. So I don't see anyone here this evening who has come to speak to us, so we will move on to item number 6. Auditor's Parcel number 0626401003. This is the second consideration of an ordinance that would change the land use map for a 30-acre property located in the West Land Use Area to public, semi-public use in order to allow the development of an elementary school. And this is the project we've been working on with the Clear Creek Amana School District. Could I have the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 2022-1011, an ordinance amending the Coralville Community Plan to reflect certain property generally known as Auditor's Parcel number 0626401003, Coralville, Iowa, to be designated public, semi-public use in place of corporate campus use, low-density residential use, medium-density residential use, and open space use. Introduced for adoption, second consideration by Councilmember Knutson, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Any questions or discussion on this item? All right. Could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Ordinance passes its second consideration with all ayes. Item number 7, Utility Resilience Project. This agreement is for cost estimates, benefit cost analysis, and exploration of the Utility Resilience Project. Could I have the resolution, please?
Resolution approving an engineering services agreement with Stanley Consultants for the Utility Resilience Project, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Wynn. Any questions or comments on this item?
This would be a contract with Stanley Consultants. RFP was sent out by Ellen Hobble on behalf of the city, and Stanley was selected after going through a review process of those RFPs. And this would set us up for doing a hazard mitigation grant in Coralville from approximately, I believe it's at 6th Avenue to 10th Avenue, north of 5th Street up to the interstate for burying utility lines. And that's an area that the overhead lines have had a lot of issues during storms, and people have had extended periods of time when they were without utilities. And so this would set us up for having all the information necessary to then apply for the grant at a later date.
Now, did we do one other section? Or is this the same?
Yeah, this is the same one. Yeah,
Okay.
there's just
Okay.
several steps, and this
Yeah,
is the
okay.
last piece of that,
Gotcha.
which will get us, and this is also paid for by a grant as well.
Okay. Yeah, this is, I think, really important because if I remember correctly, during the derecho, this was one of the areas that it took a longer time to restore the power
Yeah.
because of the utilities.
Yeah, because the utilities, when they're running through the backyards, it takes the utility company a long time to go in and get through some of the areas because people have things in the way, and so that's just a real difficult thing to have happen. And we had people upwards of 10 days that did not have utilities.
And I'm assuming that when we get to the phase where we would actually do this work, we would have a plan for communicating with the residents and the neighbors, just.
Yeah, there would be a lot of work that'll need to be done because a lot of the houses will also have to have, their access to the utilities will have to be relocated as well so that they can accept an underground feed. So a lot of work will have to be done with individual homeowners.
And Kelly, this parcel is just kind of an extension. Are we moving from First Avenue, I guess, west? Or did
It
we
really,
already?
it's dependent, there's a part of this work is a cost-benefit analysis. And so if there's certain streets that score better, then those are the first ones that we would do. So that's one of the things that we'll find out in the study that they do. If there's certain neighborhoods or certain streets that are worse than others, that's what we'll, where we'll start with.
But have we done this before for other parts of Old Coralville?
No, this
This
is
is
the
where we're
first one.
starting.
And this would be the first grant of this type under the hazard mitigation program. And so Ellen approached the state on our behalf to see, and they agreed that it was a good idea and that this could possibly be a test case to do in other locations around the state.
Right.
Any other questions?
I guess what sort of disruption community member should plan for if the grant is approved, and how, if this thing is moving forward?
Well, it'll be some time off, probably be a couple years out, and it would be similar to like Amana, or it'd be just a little more extensive than the work that they're doing, because you would be putting in conduits along the street.
And this is one roof for that whole area, correct?
Well, it would be street by street.
Street by street.
Yeah.
So they would take down the behind, but they would put in front,
Right,
correct?
so it would be a cooperative effort to select a corridor out in the fronts of these properties and put all the utilities in there. So, right now, we're working with Imon and Metronet, and they're kind of doing their own thing, one or two conduits at a time. But this would be more of a collective effort, and you'd have a package of multiple ducts, conduits going in the ground, kind of in a nice orderly manner. And then physically moving the actual cables that go inside the conduits from the backyards out front. And that could also include moving electrical transformers that are sometimes up on the poles in the back. And then, as Kelly mentioned earlier, changing the service connections. So that could involve just some minor digging from out near the street back to the house to make those reconnections. And then ultimately, the poles in the backyard would get removed, so.
Yeah, I think it'll just be really important, to learn from some of the experiences we've had with Imon and Metronet, and just making sure that we're being very vigilant about, communicating with the folks that are going to be impacted by this. Because again, it's going to be a very, very good thing at
Right.
the end of the day, and really, a really important upgrade.
And I'll just mention too, with our upcoming Fifth Street project, we're actually going to see this happen on a much larger scale, because we were taking the Fifth Street utilities, Mid-Am Electric is going underground, their gas main is getting moved, relocated, and then all of the communication conduits are also being relocated. So we've done that on a few street projects in the past, but this is the first time it's being done under kind of this grant approach.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we vote? Okay, could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item number 8, Clear Creek Mitigation Bank. We have two parts to this item. We'll start with item A. This is a supplemental agreement, and it's necessary it is for tasks necessary to satisfy Phase 2 archaeological survey as requested by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to be completed on a portion of Reach 3 of the Clear Creek Mitigation Bank, not to exceed $16,000. Could I have the resolution, please?
Resolution approving supplemental agreement number 1 with Impact 7G for the Clear Creek Mitigation Bank, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Wynn, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Knutson. Questions or discussion on this item? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Jones.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item B. This next step is for a standby letter of credit related to the Clear Creek Steam Bank Credit Program, often referred to as the banking instrument. This sets a public hearing for September 27th, 2022. Could I have the resolution, please?
Resolution setting a date for a public hearing on an irrevocable letter of credit, introduced or adopted by Councilmember Jones, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gross. Questions or comments on this item?
We will actually not get the letter of credit until we actually sign the banking instrument, so that would be some point down the road. But this will be the format and the approval for it, so when we get to that point, we'll have it available. And what this does is it gives the Army Corps of Engineers a mechanism. If we were to stop construction midway through the process, they would have a way to finish the project. So obviously, we do not anticipate that would happen, but this is one of their requirements.
All right, thank you. And I was just curious, so in the memo, it talked about the selling of the credits. I was wondering, is there a timeline for that? We have our finance director here. I don't know if, or Sherry.
We actually can't sell the credits until we
Okay.
get to the first phase, which is have 15% of the credits available when we sign the banking instrument. And then
Okay.
each successive year, there's more credits available. So we wouldn't have those available until we get through all of this process and sign the banking instrument with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Thank you for clarifying that. Any other questions on this item? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item number 9, Colony Fen Erosion and Dewatering Correction Project. This is for correcting gullies and erosion, stopping dewatering, and providing a plan for restoring native vegetation for the fens located on the former colony property. The public hearing for this item will be on September 27th, 2022. Could I have the resolution, please?
Resolution setting a public hearing on the plan, specifications, estimate of cost, and form of contract for the Colony Fen Erosion and Dewatering Correction Project, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Nguyen. Questions or discussion on this item?
Stupid question. It seems like we voted on something very similar in this same property. What, to work on this fen, I guess, whatever this is?
And we have Sherry Proud coming up to the mic.
So, I don't remember what month it was, but we hired a consultant to prepare the plans and specifications. So now we're
Okay.
to the point where we're setting our public hearing, and then on the 27th, we'll hear about those plans and specifications.
Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Knutson.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Jones. Goodrich.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item number 10, I-80 First Avenue Interchange. The I-80 on-ramp will be closed for 2 months in the summer of 2024 during the construction of the diverging interchange at I-80 and First Avenue. This agreement would grant permission for the Iowa DOT to use First Avenue as a detour, as part of the detour for this project. Could I have the resolution, please?
Resolution approving an agreement for DOT-initiated detour of primary highways onto local roads for the I-80 westbound on-ramp, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Knutson, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. I just want to, just for the sake of the folks that are watching at home, this would be in place from July 1st to August 31st of 2024, correct? That's correct? Yes, okay. Yeah. So we have a ways, it's a ways out before this will be in place.
Is that the only on-ramp we're gonna have to close? During this whole project? That's a miracle. That's good.
We will be talking a lot more about this as we move along, just to make sure people are aware, because there'll be different phases and different things will be changing throughout the process. And the bids on this are received September 20th, so we're hopeful that those are good bids and that we can start construction next year.
Great.
So I got a Kevin question, I guess. Why do we have to vote on this? Because it's interstate?
Well, but we have these, the DOT needs our permission. Their First Avenue, Highway 6, and Coleridge Avenue are joint jurisdiction roads, so they always have an agreement with us to, this is the official detour route.
Yeah, well, and First Avenue, they
Is
don't have any jurisdiction. So you have jurisdiction on First Avenue. They would on Highway 6 and Coral Ridge, but First Avenue is a local street. So just to clarify everything and that you're receptive to that.
Have a lot of detours we don't vote on.
Right.
Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Gross.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item 11, Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan. The Federal Transportation Authority requires any public transportation system that receives federal financial assistance under 49 United States Code Chapter 53 to develop, draft, and certify a public transportation agency safety plan. Could I have the resolution, please?
Resolution adopting a City of Coralville Transit Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan in accordance with 49 CFR Part 673, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Jones. Questions or comments on this item?
Do we
Just-
have this in place already, or this is something that we have to draft from scratch?
We have Vicky Robrock coming up to the mic.
So this was a requirement, I believe, that was supposed to take effect in 2020. Then the pandemic came, so they delayed it, I believe, by a year almost. And we're required annually to review it, include any requirements that are changed by the FTA or anything internally that we do. So this is just a revision that we had some changes since our last one.
Awesome, thank you.
Did we get those changes summarized or
They were noted in the
in the
packet.
resolution?
Yep.
Okay.
I assume, Vicki, this is something that you do, and then what's the process of, to get to
So
this point?
we developed the initial one, and then one of the things that, the requirements that the FTA added was that they wanted cooperation with frontline workers as well as our union. So that's part of the things that we changed to make sure, we already had that in place on our safety committee that we have within our transit system. But this was just more formally putting it in our actual plan.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Quinn.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item number 12, Clear Creek Amana Community School District. This amendment would add property that will be used for the construction of School Street so that the school district can construct the street and dedicate the property to the city for use as a city street upon completion. Could I have the resolution, please?
Resolution approving an amendment to the purchase agreement with the Clear Creek Amana Community School District, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Wynn, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Questions, comments, or discussion on this item?
Do we have to pay for any part of this at all, Kelly?
The road project, no.
No.
I thought we were extending Oakdale.
We are extending Oakdale, but not the school street part.
Okay.
Stupid.
Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Jones.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Gross. Wynn.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item number 13, High Quality Jobs Program. This amendment revised Exhibit D of the contract to correct the employment base numbers for the contractual job obligations. This removes 3 temp interns, removes 2 individuals already terminated, and adds 1 individual already hired during the grant period, reducing the beginning headcount by 4. This does not impact the job growth commitment that was made. It's just changed the starting point, which impacts how the program measures progress. Could I have the resolution, please?
Resolution approving amendment number 2 to contract number 17 DFTC 036 between CIVCO, the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and the City of Coralville for the High Quality Jobs Program, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Jones, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gross. Questions or comments on this item? All right, could I have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Goodrich.
Aye.
Knutson.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Resolution is approved, all ayes. Item number 14, I would consider a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Mayor, I would like to ask council to consider motion to approve the consent calendar as presented from A to BB.
Moved by Wynn, seconded by
Second.
Gross. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Knutson.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Consent calendar is approved, all ayes. Item number 15, City Administrator's Report.
Just like to thank the organizer and participants on the Coralville Pride event that was held on Labor Day, and the individual that has has organized it the last 2 years did notify the mayor and I that he will no longer be organizing that event. So hopefully there's a group within the community that can come together and continue that moving forward. So, but this year's event was a very good event. And that's it, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number, what number are we on? Item number 16, Mayor's Report. Yeah, so I just want to echo what Kelly said about Pride. It was a fantastic event. It was, great to see how that event has grown over the last couple of years. I do want to say thank you to Tim Nedaba for his efforts in getting the celebration off the ground. We had, 2 wonderful years of a fantastic event, and I appreciate his efforts and thank him for stepping into that role. And I would love to see someone else take up the mantle, because I've gotten so many comments about how fortunate we are to have a Pride celebration in Coralville, and I had a great time on Sunday. I was at the city's booth for a few hours, had a lot of fun chatting with folks in the community, and it was just a really wonderful event. I also want to say thank you to Sherry Proud and city staff for all of their help in getting the event off the ground and helping to make it a success. We also had a great celebration with Fry Fest. Was that last week? Yes. Okay, I'm like losing all sense of time, right? Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and want to thank all the folks, again, with the city, with Think Iowa City, and all of the volunteers who helped make that a wonderful event. I also wanted to note that there are 2 organizations that have celebrations coming up the weekend of September 24th. The first is the Center for Worker Justice is having their 10th anniversary gala. It'll start at 6 p.m. It'll be at the Iowa Memorial Union, and I would encourage folks to come out and celebrate with them. I really admire the work of that organization, really appreciate everything that they've done, not only in this community, but throughout Johnson County, working to stop wage theft, fighting for fair wages and fair labor practices. So I encourage everyone to come out and celebrate their 10-year anniversary. And then on Sunday, September 25th, Houses into Homes is hosting their comfort food event from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Green State Financial Center in North Liberty. I will be contributing. I'm not making it. My husband will prepare the food. I always feel that I have to reassure everyone of that fact. I will be participating. I think Councilmember Knudsen is as well. So
Yes.
There'll be a lot of great food for a great cause. So those are 2 events I would encourage everyone to be sure to check out in the next couple weeks. And that is all I have. City Attorney's report, anything from Don or Kevin?
I have nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. Committee and council members report. We'll start down at this end with Mike.
Sure. Little business, I'm going to miss the next meeting as well. My batting average is going down quickly. Appreciate everybody's work the last one on the Southeast Development, and very good to hear some of the progress that was made in that area. I know there's a lot of work to do, but look forward to helping out with that. When I was gone, I was on vacation, but I was doing a little bit of investigation in Bend, Oregon. They have a very active community with regards to the river there, if you've been there. The grant application with the pedal and paddle thing that we're working on, you go there and they have, a beautiful river. Have a lot of advantages. It's a little bit cleaner river, and it doesn't flood. But really, just to see all the people, some bike trails along the river like we already have, and people utilizing that. They had some water features in the river that you could see people using, and it was inspiring a little bit. And maybe we can at least. I know we're working on kayaks and things like that. That I think would be a great addition to our community, and certainly it boosts their community tremendously. And then I also had our sustainability, Johnson County Sustainability Group met and talked a little bit about the Inflation Reduction Act, and a lot of excitement on the committee, of course, for that, and going to be a lot of opportunities for our businesses, our citizens, and perhaps for the city to take advantage of some of the funding applications, and hope to help our citizens do that in the future. That'll be, you mentioned global warming at the beginning, and that number, I think you said 28 billion or something for, that probably doesn't include this act, which will boost that more than a little bit, hopefully. So it's a big step forward. That's all I have.
I wondered that if that was, as I was reading it, I wondered if that was the number, if that number included the Inflation Reduction Act or not. So
Yeah.
That's a great question. Yeah. Thank you for that overview. Councilmember Gross.
Yeah, just 2 quick things. I should be here the 27th. Let me restart this over. I have to present at the school board meeting. There's a major addition going on at West. So when that gets put on the board, I have to present that. But just like our city, I'm not sure when that will be, how that goes on. But it's going to be within the next 2 meetings. But I'll just do the presentation and I'll swing back here. So I should be here. But on that note, I will say tonight, former longtime resident of Coralville, Molly Abraham, was appointed to the school board. So I want to welcome Molly to the school board, and she was a longtime assistant principal at West High School, and a special education advocate and teacher, and so she'll be a great addition. So congrats to Molly.
All right, thank you very much. That's outstanding news. Worked closely with her when one of my kids was at West. she was on his IEP team. So I know she's very well informed on the issues, especially with special ed.
Yep.
So it's great. Okay, Councilmember Nguyen.
I don't have anything tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Jones.
I just have an event I would also like to highlight. We will have another council meeting before this event happens, but it happens on Thursday, September 29th, right after our next council meeting. This year, the Paul Engel Prize reception is back. Did not have it last year, and actually, this year the prize, they included last year's money with this year, so it's a larger prize this year, and that'll be hosted at the Coralville Library at 7 o'clock on Thursday, September 29th. Rebecca Solnit is the award winner this year, which is an outstanding choice if you know of Rebecca. She's an American writer. She's written on a variety of subjects, including feminism, the environment, politics, place, and art, and she has worked on environmental and human rights since the 1980s, so an excellent choice. She will give a reading that night. The Library Foundation sponsors a little reception after that with some finger food and some wine and soft drinks. So it's free, open to the public, so anybody that would like to come is welcome to come. We'd love to have you there at the library.
Thank you. I am so upset to miss that because I am a huge fan of her work. And she wrote a book called Men Explain Things to Me. So it's on my bookshelf. It's one of my favorites. That's fantastic. Thank you, Keith. And last but not least, Lori.
Thank you. My condolences and sympathies go out to the family of Benny Hawkins, who has been a Coralville resident for many, many years and also involved on boards, in particular with our police department. And he was a wonderful man, and we extend our love to them. The Extreme Arena is just bursting with lots of exciting things going on, and just want to encourage everyone. The Iowa women's volleyball is starting up, and their first tournament will be this weekend. You'll see high quality volleyball, college volleyball, at the arena. So buy your tickets now. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Jones, seconded by Nguyen. All in favor say aye.
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 We are adjourned.